Is this thing on? Welcome back to Big Mouth and fancy seeing you here, and you are very welcome, my friends, and especially my enemies. Come in, sit down, no touching. I don't do the touching. You say, Mick, where are you? This doesn't look like a very familiar surrounding or a background for you. Where's the TV? Where's the dceu trailers running back to back? Well, I've gone away on vacation. Yes, I did the dceu daily from home, but now I'm at a hotel here in Larnaca, Cyprus. So much shit's happened this year. I just wanted 4 days, 4 nights, totally on my own. So welcome to the DCEU Extra. So I talked about Zach's latest picture, but so much has happened. When I say Zach's latest picture drop where we saw Cyborg at his mother's gravestone, really compelling. It was another great reveal. But I want to talk about something else because this morning, every morning, while I'm having a shave, I love to listen to the latest edition of Chris Wong Svensson's videos, the Ping Pong Flicks. He talks about the Snyder Cut. He's always talked about the DCEU. He's a big DC fan. He loves Snyder's films, and that's great. And I was listening to what he was saying about Geoff Johns again. Chris doesn't like Geoff Johns. I've always admired the man. So it's really hard for me just to hear people doing him down and blaming him for the whole Snyder situation, because I can't do that. The truth of the matter is, too many cooks spoiled the broth. Now, someone who worked with Geoff Johns on the DCEU said that it was his idea to not really run with Cyborg's origin story too much. And Chris was spitting a lot of venom, and but I respect Chris and I respect his opinion. I'm not putting him down. He has a right to that opinion. But this is the thing. Too many cooks spoiled the broth. You've got Warner Brothers execs putting Geoff Johns in charge of all DC projects, right? Including the films and TV shows. Pre that, you had Christopher Nolan, who told Zack Snyder he will be totally in charge of the whole franchise. His creative ideas will be implemented and he'd be free and left alone to make the films and the franchise and make it interconnected the way he wanted to. So who's in charge? Zack Snyder? Geoff Johns? Geoff Johns can only do what Geoff Johns knows. Geoff Johns knows because Geoff Johns has been running comics. He's been doing shared comic universes for years. Geoff knows how to do this. But here's the problem. When you put 2 people in charge and nobody knows who's in charge, it's an absolute mess. I don't think Geoff Johns or Zack Snyder were either in the wrong here. Geoff believed he was in charge because the studio put him in charge. But Geoff's problem was he's got Zack Snyder, who's also been told he's in charge. So who's in charge here? Nobody knew. And I remember Grace Randolph speaking about this. So the difference now is, and I remember Grace talking about this and not being very happy about her. She was going, who's in charge? And I just wanted to be positive about the DCEU. But this is the difference now, isn't it? Everybody knows who's running DC films now. It's Walter Hamada. You know what? There's a difference here. Marvel, the MCU, the Marvel Cinematic Universe, give you a fantasy of the real world. But Walter Hamada, with his DC Black label, is giving you reality. So what are you going to choose? The fake world or the real world? Well, here's the thing. You don't have to choose, because even within the DCEU, there's going to be lighter projects like Shazam, very light with dark elements. So you've got the best of both worlds. But even when I first saw the Joker movie trailer, it took my fucking breath away. But you know what? Having seen the film, I believe this dark label is going to be something really special. And this is the difference when you've got one person in charge and everyone working for that studio, for these franchise of films, knows where they're coming from. They don't have to agree with what Walter has to do, but he's in charge. It's his vision. He's and Peter Safran's. They basically saved the Aquaman movie. Shazam was excellent. It worked as a movie, right? I believe Birds of Prey will be amazing. I've heard Birds of Prey is going to be amazing. I can tell you from my own eyes, and it is. And Wonder Woman 1984 is on a great direction as well. That's very interesting because the production team on that isn't the New Line Cinema team, so that's interesting as well. And it'll be interesting what announcements they make after Wonder Woman 1984. Will Wonder Woman get more films? Will she need to be integrated within this new universe that New Line Cinema are running and Walter Hamada? It's fascinating, but we shall see. But what I would say is that it's I think it's unfair to blame Geoff Johns. He was put in charge of something, so he had to do what he thought was right. Now, unfortunately, Christopher Nolan had told Zack that he was in charge, and I love Zack's ideas for the franchise. I love all the pictures he's released, and the screenshots he's released. I wish we got that Snyder cut. I still want it. I'm desperate to see it, but I just think if we're going to apportion blame, put it at Kevin Sugihara's door, because he's the one who made the big decisions. He was in charge, and the decisions he made were absolutely wrong. So what do you think? Please comment down below and like, share and subscribe.